Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dabo Swinney, the Clemson Tigers, rolling on the recruiting trail, building what is turning out to be a special class in 2025, landing the commitment from four-star safety Tay Harris from the state of Georgia. A couple things jump out. One, previously committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. Clemson is doing a phenomenal job battling in the state of Georgia, landing some top prospects over the last couple of cycles. You go back to the 2024 class, five-star linebacker Sammy Brown, and take a look at the 2025 class, four-star offensive tackle Braden Jacobs coming to Clemson from Georgia. Now you have Tay Harris, and Tay Harris is a very exciting prospect at this safety position, a guy that I spent a lot of time watching the high school film. Really versatile, right? 5'11", 200 pounds. He is put together for a junior in high school. Really good instincts in the back end and coverage, reading quarterback's eyes, getting in passing lanes, but also a guy that can come up into the box, be physical as a run defender, and also has flashed some man coverage skills at the cornerback spot as well. A lot of different ways this Clemson defense will be able to use Tay Harris over the next couple of years. Want to get into the film, talk a little bit about what he brings to this Clemson defense before we get into it. And as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. A massive shout out to the Clemson Tiger fans. We kind of said it. This is the time period where Dabo Swinney really likes to build his high school classes out. It's been extremely busy for the Clemson Tigers over the last couple of weeks. I've been having a blast breaking down these commitments. Cannot thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Tay Harrison. A couple of things that I really like about Tay Harrison. You kind of look at the modern day of college football where you want speed, you want ability to cover all the speed that offenses are putting out on the field, but you also want to have guys that can be physical in the run game. I think Tay Harris represents a chess piece in this Clemson defense, a guy that when he runs a 10-8 100-meter dash, one of the faster safety prospects you'll see in this 2025 class, but also is 5'11", 200 pounds, and you see the physical makeup that Tay Harris has. He almost looks like a linebacker at the high school ranks, very, very strong. He shows that at the point of attack at the high school level. You got the speed, you got the physicality. Those are really the two boxes that you want to see checked with these safeties coming out of the high school ranks. Now, you get into the film a little bit, and this is where this is a really fun film study to see, because you see Tay Harris, you'll see him get some reps on the offensive side of the football, show his ability in elite movement skills. But when you watch him on defense, he does a ton of different things at such a high level in the high school ranks. Yeah, I don't know if I go as far, because I think Andrew Makuba may be a little bit of a different player, but in terms of the versatility that Tay Harris brings, you certainly see that element, right? You fire up the film kind of playing that single high safety, the guy that is really just reading the quarterback's eyes, and he's coming across, making a play on the ball. You see the athletic movement skills on the return as well. He's got very good wheels. He's a guy that is a fluid mover, but most importantly, those instincts at the safety position, you really, really do covet. Tay Harris all over the field. This is a guy that is not afraid to get downhill in the run game. You see his instincts. You see his willingness to really run that alley, get involved in the run game, ends up seeing a fumble, picks it up, makes a play. He's always around the football. And that's something that, again, you talk about evaluating some of the best safeties at the college football level. Yes, you want your safeties to be physically gifted. I think Tay Harris is certainly that. But more importantly, you want your safeties to have a knack for making plays, being around the football. Tay Harris certainly has that. You see the physicality that we're talking about. This is a guy that largely put together like a linebacker, but has the speed and athleticism of a guy that is a safety or a cornerback that's playing that defensive back role. Again, physical, running the alley. You see him really excel at the point of attack, and you're going to see multiple different ways he's popping on the film. You talk about making plays, right? Something like Nate Wiggins last year where you're chasing down the ball carrier, you're making a play. These are game-changing plays. They're effort plays. You know Dabo Swinney loves to see that. And then this is arguably my favorite rep that you see on Tay Harris's film. All right, when you're playing safety, you got to be able to hold up in man coverage. You're seeing Tay Harris get reps as a boundary cornerback, working on a guy that is definitely bigger than him, right? Kind of a jumbo wide receiver. Ball's in the air, pretty good ball, right? And Tay Harris continues to fight through, breaks up the pass, the elements of what he can do in man coverage, also being kind of a zone guy as well. That's what excites me the most. And again, Tay Harris in man coverage right now, you're going to see him run with probably a little bit of a burner, and that football's in the air. Tay Harris, the ability to make plays on the football, that's something that you go back and take a look at that film again. We don't see a lot of defensive backs at the college level have the composure and the ability to go up, track a football, and make a play. And I think Tay Harris's experience on the offensive side of the football certainly helps those ball skills as a safety, as a potential nickelback. Really excited about Tay Harris. I would encourage Clemson fans to go check out the rest of the film, but I want to get into this class in 2025 where you're starting to see a lot of boxes checked, sitting at the number 3 class in the country with only 11 commitments in the fold. We talked about the defensive line late last week in terms of what Clemson is doing on the defensive line. Isaiah Campbell, Amari Adams, Ari Wofford. That's the backbone of this Clemson defense. You take a look at why Clemson's defense has been so elite for the last really decade. It starts up front with guys that are just difference makers on the defensive line. You look to last year, TJ Parker, guys like Peter Woods, an elite defensive line class coming in. You continue to scroll down. You look on the offensive side of the football, 2 of the best offensive tackles in Braden Jacobs and Easton Ware. And now they start cracking into that defensive back room with guys like Tay Harris. And we saw Clemson bring in a phenomenal group of defensive backs in 2023. You're really excited about what they're building in the back end too. They have their quarterback, Blake Heber, who, again, I'm just going to say this. He's going to be a riser in these rankings. I watched the film on Blake Heber and said, I don't know what box he's not checking to be one of the better quarterbacks in this 2025 class. Really excited about what the Clemson Tigers are doing on the recruiting trail in general. This is a class that kind of looks to be potentially a top 5, top 3 class in the country come signing day. Some massive targets that Clemson's still going after, kind of the crown jewel in David Sanders, who, from what you're hearing, is probably Clemson's the leader in the clubhouse in that recruitment. Really excited about what Dabo Swinney, what the Clemson Tigers are building in this 2025 class. As always, we'll continue to update you guys as Clemson continues to get it done on the recruiting trail. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.